On Europe's eastern edge, a new kind of war is being waged, not with tanks, but with chaos. The front lines are not marked by trenches or artillery, but by forests, rivers, and razor wire. Here the weapons are confusion, fear, and uncertainty, wielded with precision by those seeking to destabilize the continent. Russia and Belarus have launched a campaign of hybrid warfare against Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia, weaponizing migration to destabilize the region. Instead of direct military confrontation, they use people as pawns, turning the border into a pressure point for the entire European Union. Thousands of migrants lured to Belarus with false promises of easy entry into Europe are pushed toward the NATO border, overwhelming security and social services. Many arrive with little more than hope, only to find themselves trapped in a geopolitical struggle far beyond their control. This is a calculated attempt to test the resolve of the EU and NATO, forcing Poland into a crisis that threatens to spill over into the wider region. The stakes are high, and every decision is scrutinized by allies and adversaries alike. In just 4 years, Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia have recorded over 200,000 illegal crossing attempts, most at the Polish-Belarusian border. Each crossing is not just a statistic, but a flashpoint in a larger battle for control and influence. This is not a random flow, but a state-sponsored flood designed to undermine Poland's authority within the EU. Belarusian officials are often seen escorting migrants to the border, making clear the orchestrated nature of this campaign. Poland responded with a massive investment in security, building a smart wall, a high-tech barrier reinforced with sensors and surveillance. This wall is not just steel and concrete, but a network of technology designed to detect and deter any breach. The goal: to transform the border from a simple fence into an integrated digital defense system, capable of responding to threats in real time and providing a model for other nations facing similar challenges. This smart wall is more than a barrier, it's a test of whether technology can outpace a determined adversary. It represents a new era in border security, where innovation and vigilance must work hand in hand. The stage was set for a critical confrontation, one that would determine not just the fate of a border, but the resilience of an entire region. By late 2025, Russia and Belarus, frustrated by Poland's new, heavily fortified border defenses, found themselves running out of options. Their previous attempts to breach the border had failed, so they turned to an old covert tactic, tunneling beneath the earth, hoping to outmaneuver Poland's vigilance. Near the remote village of Narvka, deep in the dense forests, a secret tunnel was painstakingly dug from Belarus into Poland. It stretched over 100 meters, just wide enough for a single person to crawl through, hidden from prying eyes by thick undergrowth and the cover of darkness. Over 180 migrants, most of them from South Asia, were funneled through this narrow passageway. Many had traveled thousands of kilometers, only to become pawns in a dangerous geopolitical game, their hopes and desperation weaponized by powerful states. The plan was simple, but ruthless: bypass the imposing wall, unleash confusion and chaos, and prove to the world that Poland's much-touted defenses could be breached, no matter how advanced. The orchestrators hoped that a sudden, coordinated influx would overwhelm Polish authorities, stretching their resources thin and reigniting headlines of crisis across Europe, putting pressure on the EU to respond. But their entire scheme depended on one crucial factor: surprise. They gambled that Poland's defenses stopped at the surface, never suspecting that new technology might be watching below ground as well. This was a high-stakes gamble, a last-ditch effort to break Europe's resolve and force a political crisis at the border. The tunnel was meant to be a propaganda victory for Moscow and Minsk, a symbol of their cunning and defiance against the West. But as the operation unfolded, they were about to discover that Poland was not only prepared, but one step ahead. The Narvka tunnel plot failed because Poland's smart wall was built for more than surface threats. Completed in July 2025, the wall is a digital fortress, steel and concrete fused with a network of advanced sensors. Day-night thermal cameras provide 24/7 surveillance, detecting human movement even in darkness or bad weather. But the real breakthrough: seismic sensors buried along the border, calibrated to detect vibrations from digging or movement underground. When the migrants entered the tunnel, their footsteps triggered the sensors, instantly alerting border guards. Algorithms pinpointed the exact location of the breach before anyone emerged. This multi-layered system, cameras, motion detectors, seismic sensors, creates redundancy and resilience. Poland's approach is now a model for border security across Eastern Europe. The smart wall transformed the border into an active, intelligent defense zone. As soon as the seismic sensors detected the tunnel, Poland's response was swift and precise. Border guards rushed to the exit, intercepting migrants as they emerged. Over 130 were apprehended on the spot. Those who scattered were quickly tracked by thermal drones and patrols. The operation, designed to create chaos, instead became a showcase of Polish efficiency. The message to Moscow and Minsk: their tactics no longer worked. While human rights groups criticized Poland's tough stance, the government insisted this was not ordinary migration, but a state-sponsored attack. The tunnel was sealed, the area fortified, and the incident publicized as a security success. Poland's investment in technology had paid off, neutralizing a sophisticated threat. The failed infiltration only strengthened Poland's resolve. The attempt to destabilize Europe had backfired. The Narvka tunnel was just one of several discovered along NATO's eastern border in 2025. Russia and Belarus, blocked above ground, shifted to underground infiltration, testing for weak points in Europe's defenses. Lithuania uncovered a similar tunnel near Pashalchis, confirming a coordinated regional campaign. Each tunnel was a probe, a state-backed experiment in hybrid warfare. The numbers tell the story. Poland faced nearly 150,000 illegal crossing attempts in 4 years, with over 26,000 in 2025 alone. The shift to tunneling marked a new phase, proof of state-level resources and intent. The evidence was undeniable. These were not isolated incidents, but a systematic assault. Poland used this proof to rally European partners, exposing the true nature of the threat. The response would reshape Europe's security posture. Armed with compelling evidence and a renewed sense of urgency, Poland launched a decisive diplomatic counterattack. The government wasted no time, rallying support from its European allies and making its case on the international stage. Invoking EU emergency provisions, Warsaw imposed strict border controls, not just with Belarus but also with Germany and Lithuania. These measures were unprecedented, signaling that Poland was prepared to defend its borders and the integrity of the European Union at any cost. The move choked off key trade routes, hitting Russia and Belarus economically and disrupting Moscow's efforts to bypass sanctions. Suddenly, the flow of goods and resources ground to a halt, sending shockwaves through the region's supply chains. The chaos Russia intended for Europe now rebounded on its own supply chains. Russian and Belarusian industries faced mounting losses, while European resolve only hardened in the face of these disruptions. Germany, under new leadership, recognized the shared threat and pledged direct military support for Poland's eastern shield. The message was clear: Europe would not be divided or intimidated. For the first time since World War II, German and Polish troops would fortify their border together. This historic cooperation marked a turning point, as old adversaries became steadfast partners in defense. This joint effort transformed the frontier into a shared European defense project, blending military strength with political unity. The border became a symbol of collective security. The image of German soldiers building defenses in Poland sent a powerful message: Europe stands united. It was a visual declaration that the continent would not yield to external pressure. An attack on one is an attack on all. The principle of collective defense was no longer just a treaty clause, but a living reality on the ground. Poland's firm response galvanized its neighbors, forging a stronger, more integrated defense. Across Europe, leaders and citizens alike recognized that unity was their greatest strength in the face of new threats. The failed tunnel plot didn't break Poland, it made the country and Europe stronger. Instead of division, the crisis sparked national unity and public support for tough security measures. Poland shifted from passive defense to active deterrence, signaling readiness to strike back if provoked. General Gromadzinski warned Russia that Poland's new missile systems could devastate Kaliningrad if necessary. Kaliningrad, once a Russian stronghold, became a vulnerable liability, surrounded and within range of NATO. Russia's campaign to destabilize Europe had backfired, uniting Poland and Germany and hardening the EU's eastern border. The lesson: collective defense and shared values forge a shield stronger than any single nation. Europe's eastern front is now more secure and its resolve unbreakable.